Hey guys, hopefully everyone is doing well. You can see our target for today is to solve question number 10.17. I would like to explain why it is 10.17, why not 10.1. So please don't worry about that. Since this chapter is divided into two parts, first half of this chapter is for departmental account, that is another topic. Our topic is related to factory overhead variance, and this part of this chapter starts from this question number 10.17. So consider it the first question related to factory overhead variance analysis. As you can see in your book, this heading is mentioned over here. From 10.17, your questions would be started. And secondly, I would like to mention that its initial lecture, its introductory lecture, we have already seen, where we have learned how to calculate different type of variances. First thing, we have even came to know the meaning of variance, the meaning of factory overhead, the difference between different types of FH. We have already discussed it. So hopefully if you have watched that previous lecture closely, there would not be anything difficult to solve this question. What our requirement is, we are focusing upon it. We need to calculate three type of variances, and we have already discussed the formulas of these three type of variances. First is under or over applied FOH, then we have budget variance, and finally we will be calculating ideal capacity variance. One thing what we are going to do now, we will write all formulas related to these variances first, and then we will start reading of this question. The very first A requirement is to calculate under over applied. This type of variance is called total variance, and for total variance you need two main factors, one of which is actual FH, and then you will subtract applied FH from actual FH. So actually what are you doing? You will subtract, always subtract. Here you will write the amount of actual FH, and this line will be used to calculate applied FH and to write final answer of applied FH, and then you will get the answer over here. That means variance between actual and applied FH. So we can mark it as our answer. Alright, so this is your first requirement. See over here, under or over applied. For under over applied, you will calculate total variance, which is in between actual and applied FH. And then what you will do, you will write here your conclusion, whether it is under or over. For that we have made a rule. If applied FH is more than actual, it would be called like, if applied is more than, so it would be called over applied. And then in case if applied FH is, if applied FH in case if it is less than, so that would be called under applied FH. So in this way your first requirement would be completed. If you can calculate your applied FH and actual FH, then you will see if applied FH is more than actual, it would be over applied, and if applied FH is less than that of your actual FH, it would be called under applied. And this would be the answer of our first requirement, under or over applied. And then after completion of this, you will be calculating second variance, and that variance is called budget variance. And another name you have, second name of this budget variance was discussed in previous lecture. You will be calculating budget, and second name is spending variance. You can see here is our second requirement, that is budget variance. Alright, and in the similar way, budget variance would be calculated with two figures. First you will see what is your budget FH, and secondly you will subtract actual FH and you will get the answer. Here you have calculated your under over applied. In the similar way you will calculate your budget variance, and with this budget variance you will decide how much difference is in between your budget and actual FH, and finally you will conclude if actual FH is more than your budget, then you will call it as unfavorable, and vice versa. If actual FH is less than your budget FH, you will call it favorable. Why favorable? Because you can see over here, actual expense is the amount which you are paying to your shopkeeper. So if that amount which is actually being paid is less than the amount you have arranged, budget is what? The arranged amount. You will be happy and you will be comfortable and you will be satisfied because your amount which is actually being spent is under your budget, within your budget. So you will not have to worry about your payment. This is your second variance and it is named B. Okay, we are naming it as B. First variance was total variance. We can make its heading, or at least we can put a thick square. Second was budget variance. Again we are putting a square around it. And there is a third requirement over here. You can see idle capacity variance. And what name we have given was volume variance, which we have mentioned in our previous lecture, that is volume, and its second name is capacity variance. Right now what we are doing, we are looking at our requirement, and you can see first requirement was under over applied. This is under or over applied, and then it was said to calculate budget variance. So we have calculated our budget variance, and third requirement was idle capacity variance. The second name of idle capacity variance is volume variance. And how you will calculate it? It would be a relationship between budget FH and applied FH. Budget FH and applied FH, okay. And again you will subtract both items and will get the amount of difference, which would be called variance. After calculation of this variance, you will be in need to conclude whether it is favorable or unfavorable. For this, if your budget FH is more than your applied FH, then it would be called, little more space is needed. If your budget FH is more than your applied FH, it would be considered unfavorable. Why? Because applied is just the thinking. Applied is just an assumption. You will suppose some amount, that would be called applied FH. And budget is amount which you are going to arrange. If you are arranging more amount than that of your plan, it means you will have to work hard. It would go unfavorable for you. In other case, if your budget is less than applied FH, so hopefully you will conclude by yourself. In that case, it would be favorable. All right. So these are three types of variance which we have seen over here, and we are need to calculate all three types of variances. For that purpose, what do you need is to have actual FH, budget FH, and applied FH. These three FH should be present in your question. Let's see. Okay, so what we have done, we have seen what is our requirement. There were three requirements: applied and under or over applied FH, budget variance, and capacity variance. Right now what we have done, we have written their formulas and their statements, and the way to calculate these variances has been described on left side of your page. So hopefully you can understand what we are going to do. We will be filling these factors present over here. And next matter is whether these inputs are present in your question or not. So we will see our question and we'll start our calculation after completion of this. But before that, I will let you understand that actual FH will always be given in the question. So there is no need to worry. This actual FH will always be given in your question, but applied FH will not be present in the question. For that, you will have to calculate it. What I am saying, applied FH would be calculated through a formula. And how you will apply that formula? For that purpose, you need actual hours, and then you will multiply it with applied FH rate. In this way, you will be able to calculate your applied FH. And secondly, you need to have your budget FH. This would not be given in your question. And for that purpose, we will again be using a formula to calculate our budget FH. For this, what you will do, actual hours will be multiplied by variable FH rate 1, and then you will add fixed FH, with which final answer you will get, and that would be your budget FH. So these two things you will have to calculate. Since it is first time we are solving this question, you might find it that it's a lengthy question, but believe me, same performer will be used for second, third, fourth, 5, 6. Even the last question of this chapter will be having the same formula. But the only thing is your focus, your understanding, and your concentration to decide what to do. Okay, and the final verdict is little more. You will have to calculate few rates, and first rate which you will calculate, FH applied rate. And how would you calculate FH applied rate? With fixed FH rate and variable FH rate. This is the way you will calculate your FH applied rate. Our third calculation would be like this. And finally, these two rates would also be calculated with the help of formula. Fixed FH rate would be equal to fixed FH, and you will divide it by estimated or budgeted hours. This is your first formula to calculate your fixed FH rate. Later on, we will be discussing it completely. and then you will calculate your variable FOH rate. And how would you calculate it? Variable FOH, and you are dividing it with estimated or budgeted hours. Alright, our complete statement has been driven over here, and you are just needed to make your concentration upon here. We are going to look at in one screen so that you can understand what you will do on your left page and what you will do on your right page. Here you can see, consider that this is your left page. Let's minimize more so that everything comes in single screen. This is left page of your working, where you will calculate total variance at very first stage, and then you will calculate budget variance, and then you will calculate volume variance. And keep it in mind, these variances you would not be able to calculate without completion of inputs which are present on your second page. And for this, actual FOH would be given in the question. We should name it. This is your first requirement, and it would be given in your question. Second requirement is to calculate applied FOH, and this would be calculated by yourself, and for that there is formula. We will be multiplying actual hours by FOH rate, and then third calculation you will be making is for budget FOH. Fourth calculation you will be making for your FOH applied rate, and then after calculation of this rate, these inputs will be used to calculate your variances. So before starting our question, I would like to let you know that though this is your last part of the question, FOH applied rate, it's to be considered as last part. But surprisingly, when you will start solving this question, this would be your first part. First step of the question would be to calculate FOH rate. So we will be here and we'll start our calculation FOH applied rate. Let's see our question now again. Okay, come over here and we will start reading to calculate FOH applied rate first. For FOH applied rate, you do need two factors. You need to calculate fixed FOH rate and variable FOH rate. For that, half part of the question would be your fixed FOH rate. And now read it. What do you need? Fixed FOH should be present in the question, and you will divide it by estimated hours. So here is your question, and start reading it and find out where is fixed FOH, and you will divide it by estimated hours. Come over here and you see here estimated fixed factory overhead is 7,80,000. This was our requirement. We were searching for fixed FOH. So 7,80,000 is fixed FOH, and we are putting it 7,80,000. Okay, and then you need to divide. This was your formula, divided by estimated hours. Come over here. This is your actual capacity, expected actual capacity. Hours are not mentioned over here. You can see hours are over here. Estimated units, pounds, liters, hours, these are the same sort of things. So 150,000 are machine hours, which would be written over here, estimated hours. So you are going to divide 780,000 divided by 150,000. 150,000 are estimated hours. Please focus upon here. 7,80,000 was fixed. You can see over here it is fixed FOH, and you have divided it by estimated hours. and these are 150,000. Okay, let's see what is next for us. Actual capacity, expected actual capacity. Okay, so next step is to get its answer. We will calculate over here. On calculator you will write 7,80,000. It would be divided by 150,000. 150,000. So this is first rate which you have calculated. It's 5.2 and it is your fixed FOH rate. And then you will calculate your variable FOH rate. How would you calculate? By dividing variable FOH with estimated hours. So come over here and read it down. Variable FOH is 11,70,000, which is mentioned over here, 11,70,000. Put over here 11,70,000, and then you are needed to divide it. Okay, divide it by estimated hours. Come over here. Here you can see expected or estimated hours are mentioned over here, which is 150,000. So put 150,000 over here. Decided you need to calculate it. This was your mathematical statement, and you are suggested write the mathematical statement first and then calculate. What we will write on calculator, it is 11,70,000, and you will divide it with 1,50,000 estimated hours. So second rate is also calculated. Please focus upon your pattern. This is in real, it's not the start of the question. This was the last step which you have solved, and I have shown you last step of your paper. You can see over here, this was your whole question. I am very hopeful you can see that the whole format of this question was like this, and you are solving this part. Last line of the question is present over here. Okay, so let's proceed next, and we will be solving now applied FH rate completely. Here FH applied rate was to be calculated, and how you would calculate it? By adding fixed FOH rate and variable FOH rate. Fixed FOH you have calculated, it was fourth A part, better to mention over here. 4A part you have calculated over here, and 4B part was calculated over here. You can see that fixed FOH rate was calculated 5.2, variable FOH rate was calculated 7.8. So in place of fixed FOH rate, you will put 5.2, which you have calculated at here. It was 5.2, and then what you will do, you will have to add it. Put sign of plus, add what variable FOH rate, which is 7.8. Put 7.8 and calculate this complete FOH applied rate by adding both. This was 5.2, and then you will add 7.8. This way you have calculated FOH applied rate. So please concentrate. FOH applied rate is 13. This is fixed FOH rate, which is 5.2. This is variable FOH rate, which is 7.8. So our fourth step is completed, and we'll go back, and now we will be calculating our third step. Hopefully you can understand, we are going from end to start. Everything would be calculated at your right side of the page as first step. Third step is to calculate your budget FOH, and how it would be calculated, you need to have actual hours. So we'll go to the question, we'll search for actual hours. Here is your question, and we will see where are actual hours. At the end of year 20, following figures of actual results. Look at this. Here it was written expected, estimated, and estimated. So it was not actual hours, not actual fixed FH, not actual variable FH. These were just estimated. And what we need is these actual results. Actual capacity and hours are written over here. So we have found out these are actual hours which would be put in our formula. Now come over here. We need to calculate budget FH. For that we need actual hours, and actual hours are written over here. These are 1,35,000. So in formula you will put 1,35,000, and then you will be multiplying it with what? Variable FH rate. And you have calculated your variable FH rate as well. You can see over here there are two rates you have calculated: fixed FH rate and variable FH rate. Variable FH rate is 7.8. Put over here 7.8. Actually we need another column so that you can understand. This should be written over here. So actual hours were 135,000, and you will multiply it with variable FH rate. This was your variable FH rate which we have calculated, 7.8. Write down 7.8 over here, and now mathematical statement is completed. You are needed to write down its answer by calculating. But you will do 1,35,000, and it would be multiplied by 7.8. So this way actual hours multiplied by variable FH rate has been mentioned. Now you need to add fixed FH. From where you will calculate your fixed FH? You have already seen this fixed FH is 7,80,000, and you can see from your question as well. Look at this. Fixed factory overhead is 7,80,000. No matter it is written in previous part of question or in later part of the question, fixed FH will always be fixed. So amount we have got is 7,80,000. This is our fixed FH. Okay. So how much fixed FH is? 7,80,000. Put amount over here. 7,80,000. Okay. Since it is to be added, so we will put a square after that. Let make some more space from here to here so that it should be visible to you in easy way. Not able to look at it. Please give me a second. I need to make its alignment. It's not being seen easily. All right. So here was your actual hour multiplied by applied FOH rate was 1,053,000, and then you need to put 7,80,000, which was your fixed FH, and finally you will add both amounts first, and then you will plus your fixed FH, and this way you have calculated your budget FH. So you can see over here your budget FH has been calculated, and it is not needed, we can erase it. Alright, and now finally we have calculated our budget FH. Next step is your second step. We initially solved fourth step and then third step, and now we are proceeding to our second step, and that is what? Applied FH. Calculation of applied FH. For that purpose you need to have actual hours, and you are already familiar with this actual capacity attained. Actual hours are 135,000. So put 135,000 over here. You need to multiply it with what? Applied FH rate. And you can see here, fourth step was FH applied rate, which was 13. So you will put 13 over here. Mathematical statement is completed. You need to calculate it. 135,000, and it is going to be multiplied by 13. So you have got your applied FH as well. Okay, and what is next? You need to have actual FH, and I had already mentioned it. It would be given in your question. So applied actual FH is written over here. Please read out. Actual factory overhead for the year is 16,50,000. This is your actual FH. Put here 16,50,000. So our steps on right page are completed. Once again, I want to let you look completely what we have done up till now. Let's zoom off it and see what steps are completed. There were two pages, left and right. This is your whole question. Okay, we are required to calculate total variance, budget variance, and volume variance. Four steps we have solved at first stage. Fourth step was to calculate FH applied rate. We have calculated all the rates according to formulas, and then we have calculated our third step, which was budget FH. It has also been calculated, 18,33,000. Then there was a second step, calculation of applied FH. It has also been completed. Actual FH was given in the question. So your right page has been completed. So you may take screenshot over here. I'm requesting you to please focus on the question. Since you are looking the solution of this question for the very first time, it might be little strange for you, but I promise everything would be smoother when you will continue your practice. So 1, 2, 3, 4 steps you will complete on the right side. After completion of these steps, there is nothing left, just to put these amounts on left page and you will get your answers. So the first step which you will complete would be your under over applied FH. For that purpose, the amounts are present on your right side. Two type of FH are needed. First is actual FH, and here actual FH is mentioned on number 1, and this was given in your question. So you are supposed to write the same amount, 1,16,50,000 over here, and then you need applied FH. This is your applied FH, and you have calculated it 17,55,000. You need to put this 17,55,000 in front of applied FH. And finally, you can see it has been written less. You will subtract it to calculate your total variance. Actual FH is this, and you are going to make calculate the difference. So how would you calculate the difference? 17,50,000 minus 16,50,000, and you have got your first difference, 105,000. Here one thing might be strange. Instead of writing 1,16,50,000 on calculator at first, I have written 17,55,000, because in these three variances minus sign is not needed. You are not needed to write down minus sign. Actually, if you will subtract 17,50,000, which is a larger amount, from 16,50,000, which is the smaller amount, you will get sign minus, and that sign was not needed. So you may write 17 first to avoid that negative signs. What we have calculated is total variance, and you have to decide one more thing. Total variance is calculated. You will have to decide whether it is over applied or under applied. I have said that if applied is more than actual, you can see over here, applied is more than. Applied FH is 17 lakh 55,000, while actual FH is 16 lakh 50. Applied is more than actual, so you will name this total variance as what? Over applied. So you will mention over here it is over applied FH. Let's make a little more space over here. These two lines were written just for the reference. Now they are unneeded to be written away over here. You may erase it. Since it's your first question, we are keeping both lines over here, but it's unnecessary to write again and again these elements. Okay, and this was your first requirement number A. You can see the answer 105,000. 105,000 is our answer, and we have understood that it is over applied. It has also been mentioned over beside the answer. So these two things were not needed, so we are just writing them as our working. Mainly total variance is calculated in just 3 lines. For these 3 lines we were in need to have actual FH, which was given in the question, and for applied FH you have calculated from here. This was your statement, but try to understand applied FH we were not able to calculate until we have applied FH rate. For applied FH rate you have calculated it on fourth step. It means you will solve your fourth step, you will get applied FH rate, and this applied FH rate would be used to multiply with actual hours to get your answer applied FH, and that applied FH will be put over here to calculate our total variance. Alright, it's time to calculate our budget variance as well. What we need is budget FH, and here you can see everything is ready made for us now. Budget FH is calculated over here by adding fixed FH to first answer. So your budget FH is 18,33,000. You need to write this budget FH 18,33,000 in front of budget, and then you need to have actual FH. Look at here, first amount which you have taken from the book is 16,50,000. You need to put same actual FH 16,50,000 over here. Both amounts are calculated. It's now time to see its variance, for which you will calculate the difference of budget. Budget was this amount 18,30,000, and then you will subtract your actual FH, which was 16,50,000. Alright, in this way you have calculated your budget variance, and you can see here we have calculated budget variance. This was your heading, and second requirement B 183,000 is the answer, and you can see 183,000 over here. Now it's time to estimate whether it is unfavorable or favorable for you. For that we have written the statement: if actual is more than budget, then it is unfavorable. If actual is less than budget, actual is 16, budget is 18, it means second statement is worthy to mention. If actual is less than budget, it would be favorable. So here actual is less than our budget, we will call it favorable. And what we have calculated is budget variance, which is also mentioned above. It is budget variance, and this budget variance is favorable for us. In this way we have completed our second requirement. These two statements were written just for the reference, and they are unnecessary to be written over here. You may erase it. For the time being we are keeping them. And third requirement was volume variance or capacity variance. For that we need to have budget FH, and this you can see here you have calculated your budget FH. Total was 18,33,000. So put this 18,33,000 in front of budget, and next thing you need is applied FH. And you can see in second requirement you have calculated your applied FH, which is 17,55,000. So you are in need to put 17,55,000 in front of applied FH. It's time to calculate the variance. How would you calculate the variance? You look at this. You need to subtract both amounts. So first amount is 18 lakh 30,000, which is budget, and you will subtract applied FOH, which is 17 lakh 55,000, and in this way you have calculated your third requirement, ideal capacity variance. And look at the answer, 78,000, and same 78,000 you have calculated. That's the most smooth way of calculation. We had not rectified anything, we had not changed anything, no amount was incorrectly written, everything was like a butter. All three answers have been appeared smoothly. Third answer which we have calculated is volume volume variance. And how did you calculate it? By subtracting budget FOH from applied FOH. It's time to see whether it is favorable or unfavorable for you. For that purpose, you will have these two statements. If budget is more or less. So we'll go to see the budget is 18 and applied is 17. It means first statement would be written over here. If budget is more than applied, it is unfavorable. So finally, we will write unfavorable beside it. This way our third variance is also completed. Let's make little more space. These two statements were written just for the reference. They are unneeded now and you may erase them. In this way, all three variances are calculated. On A, total variance, answer 1,05,000 over applied. 1,05,000, and you can see over applied is written over here. Second answer was budget variance, which we have decided favorable, 183,000 favorable, completed. And then third answer, 78,000 unfavorable. Look at there, 78,000 unfavorable. In this way, we have completed our question. It is humbly, I'm just humbly requesting you, please focus upon the solution. This is your whole question which we have solved. You can take screenshot from here. And finally, it's an end of solution of 10.17. I'm very hopeful that you have understood everything. Even after spending this much time, if you have any query, you may ask openly in comments, in text, in messages, in WhatsApp, whatever medium do you like, or you can meet directly for any queries. For the time being, we are taking break and we will meet soon again for the solution of any other question. Up till then, please take care of yourself, and I am requesting you to please pray for me as well. Thank you very much for your time. It's time to say goodbye. Allah Hafiz.